In the cunning and deceitful world of narcissists, they always consider themselves the center of the universe, the ones who hold absolute power in every relationship. They manipulate, control, and exploit others without a shred of guilt. Have you ever wondered if there's anything that can make these seemingly heartless individuals taste the bitterness of regret? The answer is yes. No matter how hard they try to hide it, deep within their twisted souls, narcissists still harbor a vague fear. The fear of abandonment, of being forgotten, and of having their true colors exposed. And you, the one they once looked down upon and considered a victim, may hold the key to awakening that fear. This journey is not easy. It requires courage, patience, and a heart willing to forgive. But the ultimate reward will be worth it. Liberation from the narcissist's chains and a new life filled with freedom and happiness. Join us as we explore the secret behind a narcissist's regret and learn how to transform yourself from a victim into a victor in this challenging psychological battle. When you are caught in a relationship with a narcissist without even knowing about the existence of narcissistic traits, you may feel confused and lost. You think the difficulties in the relationship are merely the result of bad days or common conflicts. However, what you don't realize is that you are gradually sinking into a toxic relationship where the narcissist is constantly draining your energy, time, money, and emotions. They don't care about your efforts. It's like you're rowing upstream while the narcissist keeps punching holes in the boat, only to eventually leave you and move on to a new target once they've exhausted all your resources. Narcissists are not always easy to recognize because they are often masters of disguise. At first, they may appear charming, confident, and charismatic, drawing you in effortlessly. However, once you become deeply entangled in the relationship, they begin to reveal controlling and manipulative behaviors. One of the key characteristics of a narcissist is that they only care about themselves and lack the ability to empathize or understand others. They are always seeking ways to feed their inflated ego and will never be satisfied with anything you do for them. You will soon realize that no matter how hard you try, they will always demand more and will never be truly content. In a relationship with a narcissist, you will experience a continuous cycle of psychological abuse. First, they lure you in with flattery and special attention, making you feel like the most important person in their eyes. But once you fall into their trap, they move into the phase of devaluing you, making you feel worthless and insignificant. They will constantly criticize, belittle, and manipulate you in order to control every aspect of your life. Lies, neglect, and verbal abuse become tools they use to maintain their dominance. Sadly, many people do not realize they are trapped in this cycle until they have suffered serious mental or physical harm. For example, a woman may have experienced her narcissistic husband always making her feel guilty about everything she did. He frequently blamed her for the failures in the relationship, making her constantly question herself and try harder to please him. But no matter what she did, he never acknowledged her efforts and only demanded more from her. One thing a narcissist never expects you to do is uncover their true nature. They always believe that you will never understand their manipulation, that you will always remain their easy prey to exploit. However, when you realize that you are being deceived and abused, that is the moment you can take back control. Discovering the concept of narcissism and understanding their behavioral patterns is the key to breaking free from the relationship. A narcissist never expects you to be smart and strong enough to walk away from them. Imagine being in a conversation with a narcissist. Every time you try to communicate, they dodge responsibility and turn the blame back on you. This can leave you feeling hurt, confused, and disoriented. But once you start recognizing these behaviors, You will see more clearly that their true purpose is to control you and diminish your self-esteem. When you stand up and say enough, that is when they realize they have underestimated you. Another example is when a friend who has had a relationship with a narcissist shares that they felt like they were living a double life. On the outside, the narcissist always appeared generous, charming, and admired by everyone. But behind closed doors, they were a completely different person. Cold, indifferent, and abusive. This can make it hard to believe that you are being abused, especially when those around you don't believe what you are going through. Narcissists often fail to account for one crucial factor: your resilience. They believe that with constant abuse, psychological games, and emotional manipulation, you will gradually lose your strength, become weak, and dependent on them. They think you will never be able to stand on your own again, that eventually you will fall into a state of living like a zombie, trapped in a cycle of trauma and control. The times when you were mistreated, belittled, and abandoned are the moments they believed you would never be able to recover. However, what they didn't foresee was the resilience within you. As you begin to realize that you are in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, that is the first step toward liberation. The important part is that you start your healing journey, something the narcissist could never predict. You begin to see that the wounds they caused are not your end, but the beginning of your rebirth and growth. Narcissists always try to weaken your self-esteem and your trust in yourself. They want you to feel dependent on them, believing that you cannot live without them. But as you start the healing process, it causes them to feel like they are losing control. They never expected you to regain your autonomy, and this shakes the foundation of their control. Once you escape the relationship, you are no longer affected by their whims. You will no longer feel lifted up or torn down by their compliments or criticisms, because you have rebuilt an inner confidence that does not rely on others. One of the key steps in this journey is realizing that the narcissist's actions were never your fault. They will always try to blame you, making you feel as though every problem in the relationship was caused by you. Interestingly, your recovery is not just about escaping the toxic relationship, but also about creating a better version of yourself. You will come to see that you are far more valuable than the narcissist ever made you believe. This is the time when you discover your freedom and reclaim the values you had previously overlooked. You realize that you don't need to depend on anyone for happiness. Happiness is in your own hands. During your healing journey, you not only recover but also grow stronger. You learn to love yourself deeply, accepting both your flaws and your unique worth. This is the evolution that the narcissist never saw coming. They have lost control, and you have regained ownership of your life. The important thing to remember is that this journey is not the end, but just the beginning. You have overcome a difficult phase, but there are still many opportunities ahead for you to grow and explore. Consider this a new chapter in your life, where you are the one writing your own story. Narcissists often lack the ability to recognize their own mistakes, as their inflated ego and self-importance prevent them from engaging in introspection or taking responsibility for their actions. For them, admitting fault is an unacceptable concept. They always see themselves as perfect, without flaws, and in no need of change. This creates an endless cycle of manipulation and abuse. They lure others in, ensnaring those around them in their web. And when those people no longer serve a purpose, the narcissist quickly and ruthlessly discards them. This cycle of manipulation extends beyond romantic relationships to friendships, colleagues, and even family members. Children who grow up under the control of narcissistic parents often carry deep emotional scars. The indifference, coldness, and emotional manipulation leave long-lasting effects, leading many to sever ties with their parents or relatives as they grow older and become more aware of the abuse they endured. Another example can be seen in the story of a man named David, who spent many years in a friendship with a narcissist named John. At first, David didn't realize that John was taking advantage of him. David always believed that a good friend should help others in any situation. So when John frequently asked for David's time, effort, and even money to support him, David thought John was just going through tough times. However, over time, David began to notice that his efforts were never appreciated. Instead of gratitude, John would regularly criticize David whenever he couldn't meet John's demands quickly enough. Every time David was busy with work or personal life, John would become angry, accusing David of being unreliable and not a good friend. Worse yet, John would involve their mutual friends in conversations to smear David, making everyone believe that David was the bad friend. David started to feel confused and exhausted by the situation. He couldn't understand why he had to endure constant criticism and pressure from John, despite his efforts to help him. Gradually, David realized that this relationship wasn't normal, and he began to research narcissism. Through his findings, David recognized that John was a narcissist and that he had been caught in a cycle of manipulation and emotional abuse without realizing it. Finally, after some time of reflection, David decided to end his relationship with John. He realized that this friendship brought nothing positive, but only caused him more stress and exhaustion. Although the decision wasn't easy, given their years of friendship, David understood that to regain peace and control over his life, he had to break free from this toxic relationship. After parting ways with John, David felt liberated. He no longer had to endure unreasonable demands or criticisms from his former friend. David began focusing on healthy relationships with people who genuinely cared for him and didn't exploit him. He also learned the importance of setting clear boundaries in relationships, something he hadn't fully appreciated before. David's story shows that while a narcissist may believe they can forever control those around them, reality proves otherwise. When the manipulated individual recognizes the truth and has the strength to stand up for themselves, they can break free from the toxic cycle of control. David is a prime example of someone who regained control of his life, found peace, and never returned to relationships characterized by exploitation and manipulation. There is a bitter paradox in relationships with narcissists, particularly when they decide to leave you. While you are immersed in love and dedication, they coldly walk away without a shred of regret, as if you never existed. To them, you were merely a toy whose usefulness had run out, a source of energy that had been completely depleted. At that moment, if you are unaware of narcissistic personality disorder, the shock can cause you to completely collapse. You may feel empty, lost, and start blaming yourself. You wonder what you did wrong, why you weren't good enough to keep them around. These questions play over and over in your mind, eroding your confidence and self-esteem. While you are struggling with the pain, the narcissist has quickly moved on to their next target. They don't care about your feelings, nor do they feel any remorse for the harm they have caused. To them, you are simply a closed chapter, just another part of their string of brief and shallow relationships. This harsh reality may make you feel small and worthless. You might start to doubt yourself, losing faith in love and relationships. You may feel as though you were merely a pawn in their manipulation game, a helpless victim caught in a whirlwind of emotional abuse. However, amidst the suffering and despair, remember that being abandoned is not the end. It could be an opportunity for you to wake up, to see the true nature of this toxic relationship, and begin your healing journey. A common tactic that narcissists often use after abandoning their victims is called hoovering, named after the Hoover vacuum, symbolizing how they try to suck you back into their web of control. They may suddenly reappear pretending to be remorseful or acting like they've changed in an effort to lure you back in. They might even use sweet words, make promises of better things, or exploit your guilt to make you reconsider re-establishing the relationship. However, it's crucial not to fall into this trap. Narcissists don't truly change. They are merely trying to restore their power and control over you. The best thing you can do in this situation is to stand firm and not allow yourself to be pulled back into that toxic cycle again. If you have never experienced hoovering, consider yourself lucky. This may be a sign that you are healing and moving forward in your life. While the narcissist remains stuck in their cycle of dysfunction, when a narcissist leaves and doesn't return, it can be an opportunity for you to recover without being interrupted by their manipulation. You are on the path to freedom, where you can focus on self-growth and rebuilding the life you deserve. After being abandoned, it's undeniable that you will experience feelings of pain, loss, and even despair. However, it is important to realize that this is only a temporary phase. You may feel like you've hit rock bottom, but in reality, this is the moment where you can begin to climb out of the abyss. You will start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, realizing that the end of the relationship with the narcissist is not the end of your life. On the contrary, it is an opportunity for rebirth, for you to learn from the pain and grow stronger than ever before. The lessons from a relationship with a narcissist may leave scars, but they do not destroy you. You will realize that the relationship does not define your worth, and it certainly isn't something that will keep you down forever. Having gone through these difficulties, you will emerge more resilient, learn to love yourself deeply, and establish clear boundaries to protect yourself in the future. Time will help you heal, and with each passing day, you will feel yourself moving closer to freedom and inner peace. Life is a continuous journey of growth and progress. Looking back, you will see how far you've come since the days of being entangled in a relationship with a narcissist. Not only have you survived that relationship, but you've also grown stronger from the lessons you've learned. Now, you are no longer controlled by psychological games and manipulation. You've found the strength to overcome every challenge and move forward, ready for new chapters in your life.